People, deluded, I'm back again. Arsenal won, Leeds 0, and we advance to the next round of the FA Cup. Arteta's debut in the Cup goes off to a good start. Hopefully we start as we mean to go on, and I don't know if this is going to be a season of anything to shout about with Arsenal fans, but at least if we could get to Wembley, you know, Arsenal and United fans, but relevant to this, Arsenal fans have a romance with the FA Cup. You can't speak about the FA Cup and not speak about Arsenal's name is more or less engraved on that trophy. We've won it one of the most times in the league, in that competition, sorry. Forgive me if I'm wrong. And it's a competition close to Arteta. He's won it, forgive me if I'm wrong, twice as an Arsenal player. He said he would name a strong lineup, and he named an even stronger lineup than I'm sure you lot, as well as me, thought it was a bit too strong. Socrates playing at right back. I'm sure a lot of you thought it would be at 3 at the back, but for me in the game it became clear that it was a 4 at the back. Socrates in a right back position did okay, and Arteta, I support you in everything you're doing, but let's leave that one alone. Holding came back. I'm a big fan of his. Didn't have the best of games, but he came back in. Mesut Ozil, he's normally ill for these sort of games under Unai Emery. He's about. Lacazette's not really been in form. It's a chance for him to score. We've gone with Pepe. Guendouzi gets a chance to kind of show what he can do in midfield. Nelson starts, and obviously there might have been some changes I'm missing out. Martinez in goal and whatnot. But it's a stronger side than I thought, than I would have expected. I would have thought I would have seen Ceballos. Again, we don't really know Ceballos' level of fitness, but he's on the bench. Surely he could start. I'm not criticising Arteta. I just felt he could have went with him, getting fit and whatnot. Would have loved to have seen Martinelli start. You see when he came off the bench how good he looked. But again, fitness. Bit concerned for Hector Bellerin as well, because again, I think his one is only a case of if you're immediately around that environment or part of Arsenal, you know how bad or the real, you know, how severe his injury is, and every game that he's missing and stuff is a bit concerning. Maybe he's just not that match fit, because forgive me if I'm wrong, he was in training. But specific to the match, I can't lie, I'm not going to say the pundits were disrespectful to Leeds watching that on TV, because they were praising them at every moment, but I felt they were obviously they're a championship side, we're a Premier League side, the form we've been in, and they're top of the table, they're gonna make a meal of it. But I felt they were quite, in the sense of, they were saying they didn't expect Leeds to do this and you wouldn't have known which one's this side and that side. I felt they were a tad disrespectful to Leeds. They're top of the league, a world-class manager in Bielsa. Like I said, they're top of the league in their respective division. They press well, they're passionate, they're a team that deserves to be in the Premier League, and a team that play domestically like they're in the Premier League. Again, it looks like they're going to win the title. It's in their division. It's not done until it's done. So we knew he was playing a good team, and from the first minute you saw their aggression, rising to the occasion, tenacity, a fearless approach. I mean, the Emirates isn't the most noisiest of grounds, and you could hear the Leeds fans even on the TV rocking. No disrespect to my fellow Arsenal fans, but it's a fact. They were relishing it, people. Calvin Phillips doing his thing. Jack Harrison had a good performance in my opinion. Is it Alioski on the left hand side, or right hand side, attacking Socrates, but on the left hand side for Leeds, they were playing quite well. Bamford had a couple of opportunities. They were all over us. Listen, let's talk about Leeds, because Leeds were superb, and to be honest, they only have themselves to blame, because they let us back in the game and they didn't take their chances. They had numerous clear-cut chances that were food and drink on another day, and ironically, the only problem that you see as an outsider looking at Leeds domestically in their season is that they're missing a striker. If Bamford ain't scoring, or you don't really see where goals are consistently coming from as an outsider. I'm not watching them religiously. And ironically, they were the problems really, because they were cutting us open. We're going long, it's coming back to them. We're pressing them. They're getting out of the positions. They look at another level, and Martinez is saving us a bit. They hit the post, I'm sure. They had numerous chances. 33rd minute was probably the best chance. I've got it in my phone. I'll go over it again. In fact, let's bring that up, because I can just remember that specific moment, people, because we were slow, very lethargic, very tight. We looked a bit tired. Again, we haven't played in like 5 days, forgive me if I'm wrong, so it's a tired excuse really valid, but we did look like we looked tired, we looked off it a bit. We did look like we were creeping into old habits. You saw with Holding, with Xhaka, with Guendouzi, with Luiz, straight the ball. We're not getting the ball moving, but these individuals I've named, and it's not just them, we're being very sloppy in possession, people. I think Pepe's looking okay, and so is Nelson, but it's looking a bit of a madness. And I think Socrates did alright today, but if he doesn't get cramped today, he's invincible. I saw them Leeds guys trying it with him, and he really is indestructible, but he had a lot to do down that left hand side. Leeds is left hand side, people, and listen, I thought it would take us 10 minutes to wake up. I'm at the 10-minute period. I'm like, yo, we're kind of catching life here. It's taken us about half an hour. Not even half an hour, because we're not really in the first half. Sorry, people. Alioski with the header or shoulder, whatever it was, where Socrates did well to kind of put him off, where former Gooner Luke Ayling put a number of crosses in the first half, but that was probably his best one. They obviously got the keeper, I can never say his name, but Musley. You lot that watch me and have been watching me know I've spoken about him and was saying Arsenal should have got him before he went to Leeds because he could potentially develop. I'm liking what he's doing at Leeds since he's become the first choice keeper. I think it took him a moment, Leeds fans, forgive me if I'm wrong, but to dislodge Kiko Casilla in the team, and he's doing alright. And I like what I see from a good ball playing today. I think the keeper was very good with his distribution. Must admit, going back to the France's under-20s championship, he was a bit error prone there, but he's a decent keeper. I think Ben White showed he can bring the ball out. A couple of times he was getting caught in possession and we was disarming him. But you see what I'm saying? I did think one way we could get back into the game, and it's actually a testament to Arteta's coaching. I remember Saka saying something about how Arteta is showing them that if nobody's necessarily pressing you, or sometimes you don't need to pass for the sake of it. It sounds elementary, but bring the ball up. And you saw Pepe do a nice little dribble in the 6th minute. You saw even Xhaka burst with it. And there's someone, I think Nelson as well. It looked like they were dropping off of us a bit too much, if anything. And that was one positive I could see us if we're going to get in the game. But I'm not going to lie, I thought there needed to be changes at half-time. We look very slow, we look lethargic, the play isn't there. It's the not being switched on that's really killing me, because we've done so well in previous games, and I'm not going to say throw it away because the context is different, but to kind of be kind of cheating ourselves isn't on really and truly. And it's mainly the errors. Like, I'm a big Holding fan. I don't know where Holding was seeing some of these passes. Like, was he watching Sergio Ramos or Van Dijk videos before this game? Let's just stick to basics. I'm a big Rob Holding fan, but he in particular had me on edge in this game, people. Like a number of them. Xhaka's been quality so far since being reintegrated into the side, and I don't know what he was on today. I was surprised he weren't sent off, not because he did anything malicious, but when you're on a card and it's like second half he was much improved, but it's like you know how Xhaka, he's always on edge, he's always testing the ref. I thought it could go a different way. I did feel if anything was going to happen, it was going to be from Nelson and Pepe, just because Nelson needs to sort out his decision making and actually buy some boots so he's not sliding on the floor all the time. And Pepe was doing alright, but I felt they just looked like the only ones to make something happen. I don't feel Lacazette really has any service or anything's going for the attacking players, but I want to see a bit more from him. Not just him, but everybody really, because listen, I know the fans at the ground weren't happy with Socrates kind of calming it down before the end of the first half, but I didn't mind that, people, because we needed to get into half time at 0-0, and it did look at points that Leeds were going to get an opportunity. They were completely blitzing us in the first half. It was completely one-sided. We were the Championship side, they were the Premier League side, and obviously the form of the two sides, irrespective of their divisions, is why they kind of played like this. Obviously, we've had two good games, but Arteta's come in and whatnot. The team's been a bit of a mess. Leeds are in the Championship, fair enough, but they're consistent, galvanised, one of the best coach sides in the country, let alone the league. And Bielsa's been there for a minute, and they're the league champions, so it's going to be different, people. I did think we need to rise to the occasion a bit more, and we needed a bit more in the second half. And listen, I've seen Arsenal actually be the better team. We've been rubbish this season, but be the better team in games, but we haven't smelt blood and scored that first and second. Ironically, kind of what we did what Leeds did to us today kind of happened against Chelsea to a degree, Carl. We never got the second, was it the Chelsea game? Was it the Chelsea game we didn't get the second goal? Yeah, I think it was the Chelsea game. We never got the second goal, and I felt the roles were, forgive me if I'm wrong, people, obviously, but I felt the roles were a bit reversed, and we needed to wake up in the second half. And credit where due, I saw a response. Ozil, listen, I'm a big Ozil fan, but I never saw him in the first half, probably playing Fortnite, but he was about. You obviously saw Lacazette waking up, Kolasinac bombing down the left. Xhaka is still committing hella fouls, but he's getting hella fouled bare times. Guendouzi, I felt Guendouzi was terrible, to put it nicely, in the first half. And you lot know me, I keep it fair, I'm a big fan of Guendouzi. He's turning it on. Pepe and Nelson are doing decent. We're playing a bit better. We're still looking a bit shaky, and we're still giving Lee something to be encouraged by, but we're kind of rising to the occasion, really, as the game goes on, and it's becoming a bit more end-to-end, a bit more in our favour. We're kind of levelling it out in terms of possession, which I believe in the first half to us compared to them, I think we had 37%, they had the rest. We're starting to get a bit more in possession. We're starting to do things, have half chances and whatnot. And you're thinking we are going to score. When Nelson did eventually score, obviously it was nice work from Pepe. Lacazette kind of messed it up. In fact, it's a scrappy goal, really, because Lacazette kind of gets a bit of fortune because he actually should have laid Nelson in the first half for an effort, but Lacazette doesn't do the best on it, but we get a bit of luck, it trickles through. Even Nelson's strike, he doesn't even hit it cleanly, it kind of hits his inside leg, and it's a scruffy goal, but we've got a reaction. Leeds have been a better team, we've been a poor side on the whole of it. We'll take that, people, we'll take that. I'm not gonna lie, I'm thinking to myself, Leeds have a goal in them as the game's heading to a close, but I also think the same about us. I saw a reaction a bit, man. I saw a bit more commitment. I still think we were a bit more open and we crept into a lot of old habits that were plaguing us pre-Arteta. Kind of came in, but in the end we got through it, really. There were some nervy moments, but at the end of the day it's 1-0. We go to the next round. I believe that now means we play against Bournemouth away from home, and we can't really complain. And for Arteta, he's probably learned a lot in this game because, again, I believe the players have had substantial rest, and the players in today's game are arguably fitter than ever. So how much is the fatigue thing valid? I do believe that on one hand, but on the other, people, evidently, if you're using, on top of us being poor, if we were just losing your brain, the man them on the pitch look tired, like they look knackered, like people look like they could have done with the night off. And I think for Arteta, obviously, it's not going to change overnight in terms of fitness levels and things, but I do think in terms of his coaching CV and learning stuff, he might have been provided a culture shock in that he might have seen the City players able to do this, the Arsenal players obviously genuinely aren't, and he might change things. He might double down on certain things, not do certain things again, and all of these sort of things and whatnot. But listen, I have to give credit to Leeds. They gave a good account of themselves. I, as an Arsenal fan, know full well how much football can suck. You can have possession, chances, but the only thing that matters is who scored the most goals come the 90th minute. No disrespect to the FA Cup or to Leeds, and not to sound cliche, but I'm sure they've got bigger fish to fry. I'm sure if you was to offer many Leeds fans prior to this game, do they want to get promoted, actually winning the championship? I'm not going to say playoff because that's mookie, but actually winning the champ. In fact, they even played like it's the playoff. Shout out to Leeds. But if you gave them winning the championship over the FA Cup, I'm pretty sure they would pick the championship prior to the game. So they've given a good account of themselves. I don't know what other competitions they could potentially be in because the League Cup is in the semi-final stage now, but they can now focus on getting promoted and, in my opinion, returning back to where Leeds United have been missing for too long. It's been 15, 16 years. My maths is poor, but it must be. They need to come back to the Prem and good account of themselves. We got out of jail because of a decent second half, woeful first half in honesty, but it is what it is. We've got a tough game away from home against Crystal Palace in the Premier League, and we need to be firmly switched on and take the second half of this game, more so the Chelsea and United games, and apply it away from home because it's going to be different. It's one thing playing for your manager, being galvanised when it's your home fans, and that's resonating, that the energy and stuff is resonated. You're going to have to do them same things, but we're going to be in the away ground environment. They're going to be repelling against these forces, and we're going to need to still show bravery at Selhurst Park. But that's for my preview, and that's for another day for us to speak about. I've been rambling and waffling on long enough now, so I'm not going to bore you guys any longer. On that note, people, Deluded, I'm out. As usual, thank you for watching and rocking with the kid. Comment, subscribe, check out the rest of my content. All my socials are in the description. I'm out.